Hey guys, welcome back to Just Anime Club.
Just Anime Club?
Just Anime Club.
Oh yeah. What are we talking about today in Asia?
Today, we are talking about I Can't Understand What My Husband Is Saying. It's a long title, but it's a great show. A short show. Long title for a short show.
That's true. Long title, short show.
Yeah, it's a pretty simple story talking about these... It's a newlywed couple. Would you call them newlywed?
Yes.
And just
Yeah,
like
probably.
Extremely newlywed.
Them like trying to figure out how to function together as these very different personalities.
I think
Kind
he's
of
like 23 years old. I looked that up on the wiki,
Something like that.
which is
You wikied
interesting.
it.
Like I expected him to be a little bit older. 23
Yeah.
seems awful young.
Yeah, it does seem pretty... But it makes sense that
Oh, it makes sense
because
in
of
the
their
culture.
behavior too.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's a comedy. I would call it a comedy. I
It
think
is.
it's a comedy. But the
Definitely
pacing
is.
is so fast. Every single episode is 3 minutes long. There are 2 seasons, so you can watch them all in, 2 hours?
Is that something that happens more often than I know about with
Yeah, I
anime?
don't
Like
know.
I've never seen an anime that's not 20
I've
minutes.
never
This is the
seen
first one that
anything
I've
like
seen where there's 3-minute episodes.
So it is pretty out of the ordinary. Okay.
That's
Just
what
to
I would
confirm.
assume.
I think the closest thing to like American type stuff that I know of is like almost Robot Chicken.
Robot
And
Chicken?
that's
I don't
Robot
think I've
Chicken's
heard
like
of that.
15. Is it 5 or 15 minutes long? Well, it's a bunch of short stories.
Okay.
It kind of has a weird storyline. It has nothing to do with anime, so we shouldn't be talking about it. But
Okay.
But I haven't seen another show with this kind of pacing where it's just like it's so
Oh my
fast, and I feel like I miss a lot of the humor.
Yes.
Because it seems like it's very cultural based, or even in the subbed version they
Extremely so.
don't explain what some of the words mean at all. So I had to
There's
like pause
another
it,
version?
Google it, figure it out. Oh, that's what an otaku is, and stuff like that, because I didn't know what was going on.
Otaku was something I knew before, but there's a lot of words that I looked up in that too.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is extremely cultural, and especially also in the kind of anime manga culture. Mm-hmm. Like this moe,
Yeah.
this term when you are really quite into a character of an anime
Mm-hmm.
or a show.
Well, and he has like the 2 boxes.
Yeah,
Which one do I put my wife in? Oh my gosh. It's
that was
so-
pretty epic.
Yeah. So it's funny because they're the 2 characters, the husband and wife, Hajime and Kaoru.
Kaoru, I think.
I don't know how to say her name very well. But the 2 of them are so different. But I really like that it's this like process of them figuring out how to communicate with each other and how to be like open and honest with each other. Because something I noticed is that throughout it, they kind of complain about the other person not acting normal. And that's when they're frustrated. It's like, you're not being yourself, And so it's just kind of an interesting process of them like figuring out who they want to be for one another and how to communicate when they're like speaking different languages.
Communication.
Yeah.
Huck, how do you feel about this?
How do you feel, Huck?
I'm just gonna be honest. I still haven't finished it yet. For one,
It's
for
only
2,
2 hours long.
Oh yeah, it's only
How
2
could
hours
you?
long, but I couldn't communicate or understand anything that was going on.
You can't understand what the show
Besides
is
some
saying?
of the visuals that I still don't to this moment still don't understand what happened in that scene. I could not. I started to connect a little bit, but I can't even get into it because it's too fast. It's too fast for
it's
me for
really
for
fast.
sub. It just is. Nothing against it. We're talking about Spunky is like my wife. She watched the first episode. She's a great reader. She's pretty quick at it too, and she couldn't even keep up.
Yeah.
It's ridiculously fast.
I think I
It
had
is
to
fast.
watching it through the second time this time. Actually, I've watched parts of it 3 times now, but this is the second time I've watched it all the way through. And I feel like I actually got it this time. Like before, like it was just kind of funny and there were moments that I liked, but it was like hard to keep up with what was happening. And I think watching it all the way through now I get it. Now I see who the characters are. It was a lot more enjoyable this time around.
I think for me, I
very
honestly
relatable.
I would push for a dub because I am interested to the point where I want to watch it, but I want to be able to. I really like. Well, it's for me though. We're talking about for a guy that has issues with this. Like it's not that for me to really
make
understand.
understandability
Yeah,
better.
I think
Understandability.
I think the reason why it's not dubbed is because the humor is so strongly cultural dependent that most Western folks would probably not get it. Like, half their jokes, even if it would be dubbed, would go over their head.
Right.
Because it's so much into the society that is going on in Japan. It's just so much integrated in that outsiders have a really hard time understanding it if they're not familiar with at least some factors of the culture.
An example of that is like towards the end when the husband is like, he decides that he's gonna go. Actually, it's not towards the end, but he decides he's gonna go get a real job, and like whenever he's going to become a working
pretty close
man.
to the beginning, actually.
It is pretty close to the beginning.
But later, like when he like really takes on the task of being a working man, and he knows he's going to be a dad, and he wants to like be a good dad, he says, "I will refer to myself as Boku," and she gets like, she's like, "Really?" Like, she's so happy, and I didn't understand what that meant, and even looking it up, I had to like.
Did you look it up?
Yeah. So Boku is like. It's an informal, used when casually giving deference. It's a way of referring to yourself. Like, we would just say I or you. Like, we don't have a translation for it, really. But it's like, there's multiple ways of referring to yourself in the Japanese language. And so it's a way of saying myself, but, like, as a manservant. Like, as your servant. Or, like, in a way of, like, giving deference to her.
So the chains are really
Boku.
starting to... No,
Yeah, so he's basically, like, saying, like, I will be yours. You know, I will refer to myself as being, you know, your...
Okay, interesting. I didn't look that one up.
Yeah, so that
Gosh,
and that gave
Fabe.
a lot of clarity to why it was so, you know, like, impacting to her, because she was like, you know, it's just like...
It was the episode where he was talking about becoming normal for the child's sake, basically. And but then before he even talks to her, he thinks, no, she accepted me for what I am. I shouldn't change now. It would shock her too much. and then he explains what he would be like when he would be normal. And she's like, yeah. And he's like, no, it would be too much for you.
Yeah. Well, and he said, when I tried this before, it didn't go so well. Like, he makes it sound like he already tried explaining this once before, and she did not receive it well. And so it's kind of funny that... Yeah, just the dynamics are really interesting between the two of them. I love that they take all of these like little small life moments and they make it like epic.
Yeah.
Like just these moments when he looks at her and like, it's a complete different illustration style and he's like totally intense and muscular or something. He's like, I do not know. You know, it's just like the way that they show their expressions is so over
I think
the
that's pretty
top.
common for this kind of gag anime, though.
Yeah.
I was confused on who was the redhead.
The redhead.
It was his little brother, sister.
Yeah, I'm assuming like transgender brother. So.
Yeah, it was his brother. I think he also saw himself.
I didn't even know. I thought it was a girl.
That was the gag. He appeared as a girl. He was male, and he was drawing gay manga later for a living. Even
that's why they didn't. Oh, it makes so sense.
Yeah,
and so the episode is so epic where he introduces him to Miki, the little guy with the glasses, and is he your friend? No, he's a sacrifice.
Yeah, he's a sacrifice. That part was.
Yeah.
But then I'm glad that they show a little bit more of the brother. Oh. Mayotama. Yeah, I'm glad that they show a little bit more of his story, like the background.
The kid's story,
where Hajime used to watch a lot of anime by himself, be pretty closed off, and their like relationship wasn't really there until Hajime like stands up for him, and then he's like, "So what's this anime thing?" You know, and I liked that. Oh, actually, he says, "Is anime interesting?" And then Hajime replies, "More than this fleeting world." Like, I love that there are these like really serious moments, but then you see Mayotama now, where he's like, you know, this whole he's found himself, or he or she. Babe, you're moving around.
I'm sorry.
This
is very fragile. Okay.
But yeah, I kind of like that they form a relationship through their.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I liked the whole story between Miki and Mayotama really a lot. Like when they were bowling.
Yeah.
And they won the trip to the hot springs, and they were supposed to go on their own. And he was all excited. Oh, am I ready for this?
I know. Well, and it's just one of those things where like, you know, Miki is like trying to figure out because he likes he likes Mayotama, but then he just is struggling with that, and he doesn't know how to deal with it, and I don't know. It's like such an awkward
The
thing.
first phone call was epic. Where he calls him and he's just, you didn't tell me that your what sister has a wiener or something.
Yeah, he does say that. Oh, but it's interesting because it's like a really sensitive life thing that transgender people go through, you know, but then they make it this lighthearted comedy.
It was great.
And somehow it works without being like degrading.
It's not the
to
only
any of
one
the
time they do that,
something.
though. I think that's almost a common thing.
Maybe it is. Yeah,
because I know at least one other, and if there's two, there must be a million. To be honest,
That's true.
So they might. I think it's a culture thing just to poke at everything.
Yeah,
really
and
hard.
they poke at a lot of stuff, and it's pretty
That is
great.
true.
I love Hajime's mom. The way
Yes.
she gets those eyes, and she just like, have you found a job yet? When are you gonna make me a baby? You know, when are you gonna have a baby? And stuff.
And I love how
So great.
Kaoru loves that when she does that to him.
Yeah. Well, she's like
it's so
finally
classic.
someone who can like ride his tail a little bit.
Like, this is even something that happens in a similar way in the Western culture, you know?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. The overbearing mother, or like not overbearing, but like I don't know. Moms
Well,
with
yeah.
Moms
And-
expect the most.
When his dad was introduced and
And he doesn't actually know that they're married.
Yeah.
It's just oh.
hello, a failure of a son. Wait, your wife wasn't a prank on me?
Yeah, that wasn't a prank. You're actually married. Oh my gosh.
That was pretty
so
epic.
bad.
And I love Kaoru's dad too.
It's actually her
just
uncle.
so
I read
funny.
that too.
Oh, it is her uncle.
Yeah,
That
she
makes
grew
a
up
lot
with her
more
uncle
sense.
apparently. I don't know if it's in the series, but it definitely was on the wiki.
It was very I couldn't tell who he was, but I thought he was her dad. But his like overprotectiveness is so fantastic. When she says she's going on her first date and he has like the thing and then the shotgun
machine gun.
and then, the machine gun and I'll go with
I'm coming
you.
too.
Yeah. She's like, no.
I could
So-
see you doing that, Fabe.
I
That
will
reminded
probably
me
do
of
that.
my dad. That would be my dad.
I don't have a machine gun though.
Yeah.
We'll work on that.
A friend of mine, when he was taking his girlfriend, they're married now, but when he took her out on her first date, he picked her up from her dad's house and, well, their family's house. And as he's leaving, he's like, hey, and he turns around and he tosses him a bullet. And he goes, if you mess up, the other one's going to be coming a lot faster. It's like, holy crap.
Oh my god.
But
my
now
God,
they're
that's
married,
America
nothing
for you.
so-
And
yeah,
now they're
welcome to
married?
America. So hopefully
That's
they
a
didn't
story
mess
to
up.
tell the kids.
Yeah.
Well, he will never be able to leave her.
I know, right? So
Yeah,
it's-
that's definitely this kind of comedy is international, I guess, for every culture.
yeah.
But there was a lot of that was I think what made it so good, the anime, because there was a lot of relatable stuff
Yeah.
plus a lot of stuff
Yeah.
that was
Very
only
specific
for
to them,
Japanese culture.
yeah.
Like one of my favorite episodes was actually one where they explain how what were their names? Rhino and Nozomu, like the little
Yeah.
girl, and
Oh,
when I met
she's
at
so
college, I
tiny.
loved that episode. I think that was my favorite.
It was
Those
really
two
cute.
are amazing.
Like they have such an unusual relationship. And it's interesting just the way that he's like, I'm more of a parent. You know? I don't
Yeah.
know, just the dynamics. And what's interesting too, I think overall, is just that you're seeing this couple who is married, but it feels like they don't really know each other, you know?
That is true.
And they know each other to an extent, but like there's like such a level of formality that they still haven't like worked through.
I think that might also be something that is culturally.
I would assume so. But I just thought that was kind of an interesting thing where they're just learning to function. Oh my
Well-
gosh, one of my favorite episodes was when she gets drunk.
What was
She
I gonna
goes
say?
psycho, but it's so funny. It's just so funny.
It's just weird how it starts to begin with, though. I mean,
Yeah.
he's like, "Are you sure you want to be marrying me?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna make you happy."
Yeah.
It's
well,
okay,
and she
I'm
says,
already
I
happy."
can make myself happy. As
It's
long
like
as
she
you
can make
can
it, and I'm
try
like,
too.
"Wow, I don't know
Yeah.
how I'd feel about that if someone said."
But later, I don't know if you watched that far, but later it becomes clear that before that, she was kind of really like, living in a one-room apartment, drinking alcohol all the time, smoking and watching TV. That was her whole life, and she was all on her own and
so
lonely.
In a way, he could have made the bad mistake.
Yeah,
well,
kind of.
It is like he did give her happiness that she didn't have, even though maybe she couldn't see it when she was marrying him because she didn't know that it was going to be so different, you know.
There was this one scene where she was, I think it was like actually the same one where it was explained how she was living before, where she had this nightmare and was waking up next to him in bed, and then she was really happy that she wasn't alone. Yeah, it was the same episode.
Because that whole episode, it's episode 11. In that one, and then episode 8 of the second season, they have these flashbacks, and they're illustrated in a different style. And I remember whenever I first saw the Dream episode, I was like, has the show changed artists or something? Because it was like it just looked different, and I didn't like it as much.
There was just the flashbacks, right? With a different art style.
Yeah, so I just thought that was interesting. But even when she wakes up, it was still in that different style. So just that one episode, the whole thing was like that. Kind of thought that was interesting. But, yeah. And then they find out they're pregnant.
Oh, yeah. That's like the last episode of the first season, and then it doesn't get picked up again until the end of the second season.
It's interesting. Because it's like, well, and you see them like trying to be better adults. You know, like it's where they kind of start to try to take their lives a little bit more seriously, I guess.
Yeah, kind of, but then again, not really.
But they're still their goofy selves, you know, and stuff. I do like that you also see them building the sense of community with their friends.
Yeah, that's the second season. I really like that part because, in my opinion, the second season felt better than the first. Because it was a little more relatable, and with all the friends around, there was some more funny moments. And
well, there's a lot more development happening too with the characters. Yeah.
It felt more satisfying.
But I love that, like, I mean, the last episode is them deciding on a name for the child, you know, and I love that, like, they're having this meltdown debate about it and they can't figure out what to do, so they bring in their friends, you know, and stuff. And that's like the resolution, is that because they have these friends that they trust, they can still work it.
That was also kind of like the first real fight they really had, it feels like.
Yeah, it's true. Most of it is like little side comments about things that they're disappointed about. But anytime they see the other person get sad because of their comment, they feel guilt, you know? And they show that a lot, I feel like. When she's like, wait, you guys have friends too? You know, and then they both...
Oh, they're both crying off in the corner.
That was the beginning,
internet, you know, and then
on the internet.
I have friends too. Just like, you just feel so bad.
You just feel like you were sitting there with them.
Yeah. I was like, I know how that feels. Well, and something that Mayotama says is, as long as I have friends on the internet, I don't need friends in real life. And I thought that was just kind of a cute.
That's right before then she met Miki, right?
I think
it was the same episode.
Yeah, I think so.
Where they had this offline meeting.
The offline.
Yeah, and he was trying to sit there and like just bear the whole like.
Yeah.
Because they were having a conversation about manga and stuff.
And there was also where the sacrifice.
I got that much of it. That's all I got. But I got that much.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's just a fun. I don't know. It just feels like a fun kind of. It's a lighthearted thing overall, but it does speak to some like life.
Yeah,
things.
a lot actually. There were a lot of moments that were really relatable.
Yeah.
I also really loved the part where her coworker came up to her and said, "Oh, my husband was cheating on me," and then just shows like he's watching the anime and looks at the TV. Is he cheating on me all year round?
Yeah. She starts to question like, is his love of like these, you know, anime things, is that like cheating on me?
And that's where also was that the one where the Cardbox thing came up? Where he had these magazines and had the Mo box and the...
He's a bit of a pervert, you know, let's just, I mean, well, not a
pervert.
I wouldn't call it, I don't know if that's the right word
I'm pretty sure there's a lot better words.
I just, like, I don't want to be insensitive because he's just a person who expresses his sexuality more, you know, I don't know.
More?
More, yeah, maybe not more.
As
maybe that's a norm.
Could?
I don't know if that's the question, right? I mean,
right.
Maybe
I mean, she considers his fascination with that stuff as like, I mean, he's an otaku, right? Because it's like, it's obsessive. It's like what one of the definitions was.
Yeah.
A young person who is obsessed with computers or particular aspects of pop culture to the detriment of their social skills.
Well, guess
That
I fall
explains
under
a
that
lot of
category.
people I know.
Yeah.
So I looked at this whole thing kind of from a different perspective, right? Because I'm like the one who isn't married.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because for me it was like super relatable because of like I lost it laughing a few times because of those like little conversations where you're just like where she says he doesn't understand what I'm saying, and then he refers to like a volume or a publisher. Like he says something about a publisher, and she's like, "We are not on the same page." It's just like, oh, I know that feeling so much. But yeah, so in that regard, I definitely related to it. But I'd be curious what your perspective is.
Yeah, I guess I kind of was more relatable to how they were before, both of them.
Oh, like the change that happens, kind of?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I could still pretty well relate with him. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's just relational stuff regardless of being married.
But did you, I guess you were more on her side than on her point of view, right?
I don't know. Well, because, like, my husband is eccentric. He is very eccentric. But not in, like, the crazy way. Like, he's very calm.
He's
like,
right
he's
at
the
the
calm
line.
one of the two of us. So, I don't know. It's a little bit different, but I could definitely identify with parts of it. If you
Like, I
took,
was 100% identifying with him,
yeah,
to be honest.
I feel like,
I could see my relationship be like that.
yeah. See, I would be the emotional, but kind of more, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Like, I would bring tons of inside phrases, quotes that she would never get. I would totally be that kind of guy.
Yeah, that is so true of me, too. Like, I quote things all the time, and he just looks at me now and he goes, quote. And I'm like,
See, I don't,
yeah.
I think, like, I mean, I only watched a little bit, but I didn't really connect. I didn't connect to one or the other because I guess me and Smokey are different. Like, if I say something, she's proud I made that comment.
Yeah.
type thing. Or if I don't know, like, it's almost a competition. Like, if you say a reference or something, you better know what we're talking about. Or
so do you feel like the two of you are more, like, similar? Like, you understand each other really well?
Yeah, we're a lot more similar. And for us, I mean, if we don't understand, like, if we're not similar, well, I know I've made it a point to understand the unsimilar parts.
Yeah.
Because that's the main issue.
Right.
And because I'm about communication, that's something I do focus on. But at the same time, stupid things happen.
Yeah.
So it's almost weird, and that's just, I think that's how I am, though, and that's just how we are, because we're not like a lot of relationships, you know.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to relate to that, but there is some things that you start to relate, like, just to think about. But I don't think I was able to connect
quite
really
in the
as
same
much.
way.
Yeah, quite in the same way, because we're just not. She's an introvert. I'm part introvert, so we kind of almost keep to ourselves.
Kind of on the same page, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We like the keeping to ourselves more than. So we're not, like, if I say I have no friends, well, I have enough friends. I don't care, type thing. So I don't go like this. I'm okay.
Yeah.
So, but I can understand, because in a point in my life, I had I had friends, but I had friends that I had to stay away from, and then had friends that I wanted to be with. So I was like right in the middle, and it was a weird spot. So, yeah, it's weird, different for me.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I think that makes up a lot of the enjoyability of the anime, though. Like, if you are in that kind of state of mind a little bit, or if you know someone like that, and that's probably what made it enjoyable for me.
Yeah.
A lot.
Well, and I like, too, that it's like there are a bunch of 20-somethings trying to figure out how to world, you know, or how to live and how to function. And, like, they're looking back at their pasts, even at times, and seeing how they've changed, but now they're just trying to figure out, what do I do with where I'm at now? And, like, even, am I happy? Like, I like the episode where Kaoru is, like, realizing, like, maybe I'm not happy, and then the doctor, like, tells her, whenever we're happiest, it's oftentimes when we can't feel happiness because we
that
don't
is
know.
true. That's actually a quote I wrote
It's
down.
a perspective thing, like when
Like if you're too happy, you don't feel the happiness anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's something I found very interesting. Yeah.
I liked that whole episode where she's just like trying to process that and how she's like, I think that's the same one where she leaves work for maternity leave. Is that the same one where she's like, and she realizes maybe I'm not needed?
No, I don't think. I think
Maybe
that's another one. I think this was the one where the compatibility stuff came up in the beginning.
The compatibility thing. That was so cute.
Yeah, and
really
he's and Jan just says,
he's like,
wait, you're late to the party. I knew from the beginning we're not compatible, but I stopped caring.
Yep. And he's like, this is how it works. So he just kisses her, and it's so cute.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
To be honest, I like that because
they make it work. I mean, they're kind of throwing the rules out the window, and they're like,
because once you get to the part where you're married, I think it's, because I'm not a person that says there's one person for you.
Right.
Because
right.
there's a lot of people that are similar, and you're always going to come across people who are similar. So, I actually really like that, the fact that it's not about compatibility anymore. It's about just working it out.
Yeah, it's about the work that you put into it. I love that they make a note of that as well. And even with the other characters, other relationships that you see in the story, the other like paired off people, you see them kind of doing the same thing. Like Risho and oh dear, I can't remember their.
Which one?
The short one. The
short
kid.
one is I think Reno, and the other one is
Rinochi
Naozumu
or something. It's like Rinochi.
Rinochi,
Yeah.
I think that was her, and
but like them working out their, I don't know, it's just kind of fun.
I love their story so much because it was this. Are you lost? You look like you're in elementary school in college.
She's getting so angry. Yeah, it's so.
But at the same time, she follows him around, and he just treats her as a little kid the whole time. And then when he gave her notes, and she wanted to pay him back. I love how the police officers in the back ready to.
The police. Oh my gosh.
That was the most epic scene.
They slip in a lot of like little things like that that are just pretty funny.
I had to laugh so hard at that one. That was
like,
that's why that was my favorite episode.
Yeah. There's a lot of innuendo, but I feel like they do it like pretty tastefully. They don't. It's never like in your face.
The first episode of both seasons, and then they had a lot of sex.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I think that's kind of another funny aspect of the show.
So blunt, That was pretty cool. One more thing that was pretty a lot into the culture thing was where it was all about Miki and about her becoming a manga artist.
Miki
this episode.
Or Mayotama?
Mayotama, not Miki.
Okay, yeah.
Mayotama, where she was like the assistant for this crazy woman.
Right.
Her former friend. And there was, in this episode, there was a lot of terminology that I wouldn't have known about if I hadn't watched Bakuman before.
Nice.
Just saying.
Oh, nice little chuck in there.
We'll throw it in there, right?
That's I don't know. I really noticed. Okay, I know what they're talking about and how exactly all that works because I watched this other anime before where there was a theme.
When it becomes dubbed. I mean, anyways.
Someday.
I'm pretty sure you're gonna make me watch it before then.
Yeah.
Yes, we will.
That's great. But
it's not as fast paced as this one, so it should be easier.
Yeah, I'm not. That's one of the reasons why I can watch Dragon Ball Super is because it's so slow. Oh my god. But yeah, I wanted to kind of bring up this anime because it's just something new and totally different than any other anime I've watched. But it's even though it's like lighthearted and it's a comedy thing and it's so short, I feel like there's a lot of richness to it. Like it feels like the people who wrote it poured a lot into the characters and the humor itself, and it's just good. It's just enjoyable.
Yeah, it's
I kind of
well
want to
done.
go watch it again.
It's like really hard to get this kind of comedy going without having these cheap kind of jokes in that most of the other anime have.
Like Baku and Test.
Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah, that whole thing starts out.
Show.
It starts out like that.
Yeah, it does. Oh man.
Now the memories come
stuff.
back.
I know, I'll get flooded. I totally forgot about that show. Yeah. Anyway.
All right.
Well, shall we wrap it up there? I mean,
Wrap it up.
I think we should.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this little discussion. If you, for some reason, haven't watched the show and you watched this, go watch it.
Go. It's only 2 hours. I literally watched it earlier today completely.
Yeah, I watched it all today. And it's on Crunchyroll, so you can watch it there for free.
And don't use me as an excuse. Don't do it.
What?
Don't use
and
me
Huck,
as an excuse.
Huck is going to go watch it again.
I am. I'm going to watch it. It's just in the time period that we had.
Yeah, we
things
rushed
popped
it.
up.
It's okay.
And and actually, one of the things that I like about this discussion is that I want to watch it a lot more now from it. So if you haven't even watched it, join me. Let's go watch it together. And meet me in the comments section because I'll be posting stuff, once I finish it and everything. But yeah, guys, thank you very much for hanging out.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you at the live stream.
Yes.
In April.
April 4th.
In April.
April 4th, Orin High School Host Club. Be there.
Yeah.
Or be square. That's more like not square.